two things, God and the Cats.
What's up, everybody? Happy bye week to those who celebrate. Colin Neal alongside Luke Scott for Sam Houston Sports Talk. If you have not already, be sure you like and subscribe today. Follow us on all of our social media outlets. And if you are looking for an audio-only form of listening to us, check out Spotify. Link is also in the description. Today we got a lot to get to, really. Even though football's heading to a bye week, this is our first reactions to the Hawaii game. We'll give your thoughts coming up in just a moment. Then we're going to be going over what else is going on in the world of Sam Houston athletics, because there's a lot of stuff going on. Volleyball is off to a decent start. They're coming off of a nice 4-set win over the Lamar Cardinals this past Tuesday. Soccer, they go on a nice, pretty good road trip. I know it ended in a loss, 3-1 loss to SMU, but they went and grabbed a nice win on the road at Grand Canyon thanks to Eliie Morgan, who was into an accolade. We'll get more into that later. And also men's basketball grabbed a couple of 2026 commitments that are, they look pretty good. We'll talk about that later. But Luke, first off, Hawaii 37-20 loss. It was a very long, frustrating, confusing night for Bearcats. Just kind of, just as always, man, I'll let you start off. Just give me your thoughts. What are you thinking now that we've had a few days to just sit down and think about it a little bit?
I think at times Sam Houston played really well throughout this game on both ends of the ball, and then at times it was not great. We kind of talked a little bit before we started recording, kind of about the defense. And it's kind of like what you said, Colin. The score looks a little bit worse than where it actually was. To be fair, Hawaii played a great game offensively. Luke Weaver played very efficiently, 3 touchdowns to only 1 interception. Didn't take that many or go backwards that often. They were always going forwards and quick. And I think our defense played all right. Generated there are a couple turnovers, but still just nothing. Nothing of substance still. Jameer Diaz continues to impress as he adds another sack to his total on the year defensively. But, yeah, offensively, it's still a struggle. This time around, and Colin, we called it, talking about seeing maybe our third quarterback of the year, only here on Sam Houston Sports Talk, of course. We broke that early before anyone else even knew what was going to happen. We already kind of figured it out. Yeah, we saw Landon Locke come out, and I thought he looked pretty decent. Small sample size against Hawaii, but just a disappointed effort out of Mature. I think another bad pick six, and didn't run the ball very well. Past couple weeks, we saw the running game against UNLV take, I think, a little bit of a step forward, and we did not see anything remotely close to that. So this week, so a little disappointed on that side.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just get this part out of the way. I cut out only like one question, but here was Longo post game against Hawaii. He gave his opening thoughts. He talked about Matoyer, and I left the ending part in about how they were going to get out of there, because Luca, I don't know if they were originally supposed to get back Tuesday. I think they were. I wonder if they were supposed to fly back the night before that they came back. I'm not too sure, because there was a hurricane going around in the Pacific during that time. But anyway, here's Phil Longo, Sam Houston head coach, on post game Hawaii.
I'm obviously disappointed right now. I think that's another game probably with better execution. We give ourselves an opportunity to compete for a win in the fourth quarter. It's what we keep talking about. I was very happy with the way the defense responded. I thought they did a good job. A little bit of bend but don't break tonight. I also thought we improved third down. We got off the field. Offensively, another slow start. This is 2 weeks in a row, I think. After the first drive of last week, I think we went into a little bit of a lull, and we started a new quarterback this week, and so Mabry got off to a slow start. The offense got off to a slow start, and what happens there is it just puts your defense on the field entirely too much early on, and that's not the recipe for success here. So we've got to find a way to get the offense going earlier in the game and do a better job of playing complementary football. You know what? I mean, he's such a competitor, and he prepares well. And both games, he got off to a little bit of a slow start. Sometimes you don't see that in the stands, but it's about the decision-making piece of it. And also both games. And tonight he settled in a little quicker than he did last week because he had the repetitive drives. And I thought did a better job than last week overall. Haven't graded him, obviously. And there were some things that we left out there that you want out of your quarterback, and that's Mabry, Hunter, Landon. It doesn't matter. And so, that falls back on me because I'm coaching those guys. And so this is an emphasis for us offensively is continuity, some consistency, and we're going to have to look at what we're doing preparation-wise during the week so that we can get off to a faster start next game. Well, with Hurricane Kiko coming right now, we're trying to figure out how we're going to get out of Hawaii here. We'll get back. We'll take care of our Hawaii business here. We'll put this game to bed here the next day or two, like we do if we're at home. We'll fly out of here on Monday, and then we'll start our preparation for UT in 2 weeks.
That was head coach Phil Longo after Hawaii. You can obviously kind of tell from the video. You can see how disappointed he is. He mentioned a couple of things about Mabry there, but the main thing was the decision making. There was a lot of, I said it whenever I posted my thoughts, there was just some weird decisions that Mabry made. And I get it. Mabry has only played sparse snaps. I think he only played like 5 snaps or something like that against Wisconsin last year. But he's had the time to learn the system, to sit back and watch it in action, have it in front of him on paper. I mean, then again, that's one thing to have it in front of you and in practice, learning it on a piece of paper or whatever, learning it on laptops or iPads, then implementing it in a game. And first thing I kind of just I noticed immediately from Mabry is that he was standing like a statue, it seemed like at times in the pocket. Like he just looked very stiff, like very sometimes hesitant. There was the interception. If he just throws that ball just a half a second, 1 second earlier to Phillips, because Phillips was breaking in on a dig, and Phillips was open. He was right there ready to take it, but I mean there was some pressure coming his way. And so he had to scramble a little bit to his right and throw kind of across his body, which we all know about quarterbacks throwing across their body. That's not exactly what you want to do. And it's in that situation, though, you as a quarterback, you're going to have to take a hit sometimes in order to get the ball where you want it to go. You can't, because if you scramble, you hesitate, that window's gone. And lo and behold, that pick six was thrown. And in that intentional grounding where he just threw it to the sidelines where there was no receiver even in the area, he had Coco Brown wide open on the check down, literally to his right, and he just didn't. I guess he just didn't see it. I mean, if he would have hit Coco Brown on that play where he got called for intentional grounding, it was an easy 5 yards, or even more, because of how explosive Coco Brown is and how good he's been this year. It's just, and then him running was just. I know Longo's prototypical quarterback is a guy that with a hell of an arm that can throw the ball, can sling it. But I've learned from talking to people that he wants his quarterback to at least have some mobility, and Mabry doesn't necessarily have good mobility, especially when he's scrambling out. We saw it a couple times. He made some decent runs, but it's not like it's not what you necessarily want. I'm not saying that Mabry is going to get better or worse. I'm not saying either way. It's up to Mabry. It's up to how he practices and how he develops. I just don't think it was a necessarily good showing for him. And the reason why Hunter didn't play because Ben Sorrell's Sports of SHSU on March to the Pod earlier today. He said, I saw that he said that Hunter actually had suffered a shoulder sprain in his throwing shoulder, so that's the reason why he didn't play. But then Mabry got hit pretty hard on a QB slide, and so they only had one other quarterback, which is Landon Locks, and that's why Landon got thrown in there. And so they threw Hunter into some pads. I'm pretty sure they asked Hunter if he was okay to go, if he had to, just in case. You never know what's going to happen. They just didn't have another emergency quarterback on the roster. So I just thought it was kind of crazy that people were assuming that he got benched, suspended. I kind of had a feeling that he was hurt because I just don't think you would have put him in. He probably would have been in pads already in the first place if he was benched or suspended or whatever. But so.
Yeah, no, I agree, Colin. How do you think the offensive line played in this one? Because, well, go ahead.
Well, we can go ahead and actually, have this point of reference for the audience on the board, the EPFF grades. Just kind of have it there for the meantime for now. But you bring back James Don the second. He's back in at center. But man, it wasn't really that good. William McCollum actually got in there quite a lot at left guard. He played 34 snaps. Joseph played 29 snaps. But Cole Dietrich got beat quite a bit that night. It didn't look good. I thought Larson did pretty well, which the PFF grades back me up on that. I thought he had a decent night. I'm not gonna really grade personally James Don in his first game back. I will say though, I did feel like the pre-snap penalties. I don't know if you remember, Luke. I don't remember a single pre-snap penalty. I could be wrong though. I just don't remember one.
I don't know. I don't know about that, Colin.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
There probably was one, and I probably just don't remember it. But I didn't feel like the line didn't have issues with pre-snap penalties like they did in the first two games. There were still holding penalties committed, which were some of them I'm not really going to hold against the linemen because they were just desperation. Like it was a broken play, the quarterback's going to get sacked, just hold him. But it is what it is. I do still think though that the offensive line room is still needs some improvement, and hopefully with this bye week, and then you have your general back in center and James Don the second get some things going. And I don't know how they're exactly going to evaluate, but it'll be interesting to see what they roll out with against Texas. Most likely they'll be the same thing.
Yeah, maybe. I actually think they might actually switch things up a bit against Texas and might just kind of see of what they got throughout the entire depth chart, because you have that week in between on both sides, right? Because you play Texas on September 20th, and then it's October 2nd. So you have that bye week after Texas. So I think they might. Well, it's not necessarily a bye week because then they play on the Thursday games. But I think they might switch things up a little bit just to see. And you also have the 2 weeks for rest in a way, right? So, yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think James Don being back in there helped a bit. Having your leader back, but still was not great. Hawaii was still getting after Mature there. He took 3 sacks. One of them really was, I think, kind of more Mature's fault, but 2 of them, just kind of getting hit. But yeah, just such a disappointing start to the season. Going 0-3, Colin.
Yeah.
I would have thought we would have snuck out at least one of the first 3 in a way, and haven't.
Do you think the Bearcats win this game if Hunter is able to play?
No, I don't think so.
because I made that because I made my prediction of the Bearcats winning in a close one, 18-15, is I believe what I said. I posted that graphic before the thing started coming out about Watson not taking first team reps, and then it was pretty obvious that Mabry was starting. So
Yeah, no, I don't think the result, maybe the score would have been a little bit different, but I don't think the score or the final would have been any different. I haven't seen it out of Hunter Watson this year of being able to kind of will a team to victory offensively when your defense is giving up, 30 plus points a game, right? I mean, I know there was a pick six in there, but you know, I thought our playmakers would have been a little bit more effective going into this season, kind of like the more skilled guys, and we just haven't seen it out of any of them, really, Colin. I mean, that's kind of the most disappointing thing. I mean, Elijah Green played solid. He had the touchdown, and his numbers, 3 for 45, but like 45 yards as your leading receiver, that's just not very good, Colin.
yeah, Longo preference, made a preference that in his press conference leading up to Hawaii that the receivers need to get more separation. I thought they had trouble with that again against Hawaii. Speaking of receivers, though, we got to see Michael Phoenix the second finally. He played 30 snaps, and I thought he played pretty decent for the time he was out there, and hopefully that means we're going to start seeing him more often. I think you really need him to get going. I think you need him out there, to be honest with you. I think he's a dynamic playmaker.
He's a difference maker.
Yeah.
He's a difference maker for that group.
Yeah, and I hope we start seeing him more. I don't know what was going on within those first two games, whether he was still dealing with some issue. I mean, he was practicing, whether he was dealing with some, injury issue that just kept lingering. Was he in the doghouse? Was he just that much lower on the depth chart, despite being listed as a starter on the 2 deep? Who knows? Who knows what happened with that? But fact of the matter is, he played 30 snaps, and hopefully we get to see more of him. Grady O'Neal played, so it was nice to see him out there after he took that nasty hit against Western Kentucky. He didn't play the week before against UNLV. By the way, folks, I know y'all see Landon Locke down there at last place and on the PFF grade with 36.1, but I will tell y'all not to take that to any heart whatsoever, because it was literally his collegiate debut. He had not played football really outside of practice since literally a year ago when he tore his ACL earlier in his senior season up in Rockwall. So don't take that PFF grade to heart. One thing I really did want to highlight, though, that I was pretty excited to see, Luke, is the defense. I thought, the points are the points, but I thought the defense did all they could in that game.
It's kind of like what Longo said. Kind of bend it didn't break. There was a chance. I mean, the Bearcats were only down, one score, at the in the fourth quarter, and you're thinking, okay, like get a couple stops, and here we go, and held to a field goal there to make it to 10 points, and then just couldn't get anything going after that. But I think would you say this was our best game we've seen defensively this year?
Oh yeah, I by far it's the best game by far. I mean, I know it's only been 3 games, but I was pretty there was just some things I thought we did pretty well and some things that the guys that are improving on. And I think this might be kind of the approach this year. I mean, I think this bend don't break approach was kind of the way to go against this kind of offense. So but I kind of like the fact that they play kind of like a bend don't break. I think it kind of just there was some guys that were left open over the middle, but I didn't see. One thing I didn't see, and y'all folks y'all can hop in the comments and try to tell me if I'm wrong on this. I don't remember a single corner or DB getting burnt that night.
Yeah. I think Hawaii. I think going up against a backup quarterback, and Luke Weaver played fantastic. Like, he played a great game. I think he took a lot of kind of like the more easier throws and kind of kept the ball in play, if you will, for him. And that racked up a ton of completions and a ton of yards. But you're right. There was no like huge busted coverage way down in the field where we saw in the first couple of games where you're like, how is that dude 20, 30 yards wide open, right? Like no one even near him. Yeah, I think that was better. I think the linebackers played a little bit more solid too in this one compared to last time against UNLV.
Yeah.
So I think that's also something to take away that we have seen, that side of the ball play better and better, which we kind of knew going into the season, like the defensive side, that was going to be like the huge question mark going to the year. It looks like now we have kind of two question marks, but
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that improvement, that steady improvement's been a little bit, it's like a pleasant sight to see early in the year.
So far, our defensive player of the year for Sam Houston, Jameer Diaz, the Glenville State transfer D2 guy. He's coming in, Luke, and he has been on a roll so far this season. An 81.4 PFF grade on the year, 8 tackles, 1 sack. He has won 18.3% of the time on his rushes, which is a pretty good rate you want to be in for edge rushers. But 11 pressures, which is tied for third most in all of FBS. So, and to keep on adding on a little bit on the edge rushing side, you also have Brody Henderson, who played 21 snaps. So I thought I probably played pretty good. I think he's been pretty solid in his limited playing time, and I hope he gets some more. The freshman from Oklahoma, he played at Jenks High School, if I remember correctly. But I thought Christopher Eaton Jr. did pretty good. But Luke, this edge room is actually not that bad. I think it seems like it's the strength of our defense so far this year.
Yeah, one thing I have seen out of Diaz, he does tend to run down the middle of the tackle, which can kind of cause just nothing to happen. I like it when I think he's kind of a more bendy guy that can kind of get around the edge, and I've seen kind of throughout the year him start to kind of run down the middle people and try to just bull rush, and at times it can work, and at times he gets kind of stonewalled. So I think that's kind of one thing I've kind of noticed from him, but also he's probably been our best player on defense, so it's hard to hate, right? He was a guy that both of us kind of talked about prior to the year, so to kind of look out for him. And he has not disappointed. So I think he's done a good job leading this defense. I thought Iman Allen played pretty solid.
Yeah, Luke, he did not have
against.
He did not have any career interceptions coming into the season. He already has 2 of them so far in the first 3 games, including that pick 6.
Yeah. So I think that side of the ball is getting a little bit better and better every week, that's good to see. The offensive side of the ball has been a little shaky still, but the improvements coming there on the defensive end, I think we'll see them kind of start to grow and play pretty good ball down the stretch.
Cats on Top he asks us, do you think the Cats will get hot after Texas? So I think it's pretty fair to say that everyone's already, putting, a loss. Like I'm not the kind of person to go ahead and do that, but the odds are that the Bearcats will leave Austin 0-4 unless they, heck, man, I would love for them to shock the world. Go do that. But if let's just say hypothetically, the Bearcats do come out of Austin, Texas, 0-4, and I looked this up. There have been only 2 instances, as far as my research goes, where teams had started 0-4 and made a bowl game. Last time it was 2023 New Mexico, where they started 0-4. They finished the season 5-7. They got in the bowl because they didn't have enough. There was not enough qualifying teams for bowl games. And in the previous one, it was 2012 or 2013 Northwestern. They started 0-4. They went 6-6 and they made it to the Outback Bowl. So history tells us that the odds are definitely not in the Cats' favor if they drop to 0-4.
Yeah, that would be accurate. Hopefully they get something going, kind of. I've pretty much kind of ruled that game an automatic loss against Texas. Colin, like I just kind of have. Um, but I think New Mexico State and UTEP are both winnable games, and I think if you can win those two and somehow squeak out 6 wins, maybe, Colin. But I don't know. I'm starting to lose a little faith in the Bearcats to make a bowl game this year.
So, you go into this bye week though. What do you want them to work on? Like, what are there's a bunch of issues that we can point out, Luke. But what are the main issues do you want them to, no pun intended, tackle?
Well, I think maybe for the coaches, I mean, obviously guys aren't getting open offensively. The run game hasn't really been that, or hasn't really exploded. I would say, like, we haven't had a game where we're rushing for 5 or 6 yards a carry, which at times last year, like that was what we did at best throughout the season, was running the ball, and we haven't really seen that this year. So I think maybe if the coaches can maybe say, okay, this is not working, we need to try something else. And then also offensively, like receivers, Colin Longo's talked about it, you've talked about it, I've talked about it. Everyone that's watched Sam Houston play this year have said, okay, these guys are just not separating themselves. I mean, it's just tight coverage. Every throw feels like it's within. There's a guy within a yard or two, and could be in double coverage, and so I think from a scheme standpoint, maybe just try to alter a couple things to maybe make it a little bit easier for these guys, and also like your first few plays in that first quarter, those things are scripted plays. You're scripting of what you want to do. And Colin, have we seen a great first drive out of the Bearcats this year? Maybe one.
UNLV.
Yeah, that's it.
And Longo actually
So
Longo made the point in the postgame that they, didn't get off to the fast start they want to. Ever since that first drive against UNLV, the offense just felt like it's kind of stalled.
yeah, I, it really does beg the question. Like, okay, shoulder sprain for Hunter Watson, throwing shoulder. Who knows what that's gonna go, right? I mean, a sprain it's just kind of one of those things that you have to deal with. Do we see Landon Locke potentially start this game against Texas?
See, the thing is, I don't know, because he could still like play a couple more games, but Luke, do you really want to waste a year of eligibility on Landon Locke if he is what we think, if he is potentially the starting quarterback of the future for Sam Houston, potentially not Mabry Matoyer?
Yeah, it's a fair point, Colin. It really is. I don't know, because, well, think about this. Odds are, if Landon Locke is a stud, right, he's not going to be at Sam Houston for very long, right? Like if he goes out there and rips it up this year and maybe next year, someone's going to pick him up in the transfer portal. So it's honestly, I really don't care about the red shirt.
Yeah, but it's such a weird year. If we were playing at Bowers,
Is the red shirt mean anything for programs like Sam Houston, like small, like non-Power 5? Hell, even like non-top 30 teams.
look,
Does that mean anything anymore?
I still think it does, because I mean, we've seen it in other sports where players that are, they're dogs, they're going to be good, but they just need they just need a year off or to like work on their craft. Or there's we saw it a couple times, like we saw it with Davion Armstead, like from last year. He played 4 games in 2023, then they redshirted him. Chris Murray was redshirted the year, I think he was redshirted in 2023 as well. I mean, Grant. I mean,
right? But these are guys that were transferred in from somewhere else to Sam Houston,
yeah, and I mean,
right?
I mean, it. I wouldn't say those cases are like, oh, these small programs, like, you know, they lost these guys. The thing is, though, we don't know what would have happened to those guys that transferred out of the defense last year if Keeler never left. We never know. Maybe they could have stayed. Maybe they could have not stayed. Who knows? Who knows?
Speaking of Keeler, off to a hell of a start up in Temple right now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna really. I, wins over Howard and UMass are not. You're not riding home about. Maybe they can do something against Oklahoma since the Sooners are visiting up there in Temple.
Well, what a weird game for Oklahoma to go play up in Philly.
A reporter was caught on the hot mic saying that it's going to be like a high school game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but
like,
I mean,
like we were talking about,
even Sam Houston could beat UMass. So, because UMass is literally the worst, is probably almost as bad or worse than Kent State. No disrespect to Kent State.
Yeah, Kent State is really bad. Texas Tech whooped up on them this past weekend. But like, as we were talking about with the red shirt, my point of view is, okay, I get for guys that are coming in from other schools to Sam Houston, like from our bigger program, or even a JUCO, but like, I'm talking about a true freshman, right, that we recruit. If the dude's a stud and we play him right away, odds are he's not going to stay. That's kind of the rough. That's kind of where we are in the portal. So for me, it's like, well, why even waste? Why waste a year that you could potentially have him play? I mean, if you redshirt him and he gets mad, he transfers out, right? If you at least play him, you at least see what you got.
I know, but like,
to me, I really don't care about the red shirt.
I know, but
I guess that's the way I think about it.
yeah, but there's also a couple more things you're forgetting about Locke. He's coming off of an ACL injury, which immediately makes it kind of unattractive to other programs. Like, oh, you're just coming off of an ACL injury. Ugh. I don't know. You're kind of not really worth the risk, maybe. I mean, and then again, Locke went with Longo either way to Sam Houston when Longo got hired. Locke probably could have gone to other programs if he wanted to, but he decided to follow Longo to Huntsville, Texas, which he did. I just don't think that would have happened if if he was looking for a paycheck. I mean, if he does in the future, go off and try to go get a paycheck, fine, whatever. That's the state of college athletics these days. We can't stop it. We can't control it. It is what it is. That's something that we're going to have to, that's something, if you're not used to by now, you better start getting used to it right now. Because that's just, it's NIL and transfer portals has been the thing.
The party.
Yeah. NILs and transfer portals has been the thing for a good amount of time where we should be getting used to it. But it's an interesting dynamic. But I think you need to have I think Watson is still your guy to go in there.
No, Watson is still the guy for sure. But I'm just saying, if he's not able to play, if he can't throw the ball, there's an issue, right?
That would be a
what
hell
I'm
of a
saying
first
is
game.
that I get your reasoning of, okay, yeah, he could have gone somewhere else, but he followed Longo. He wants to be with Longo. I get that, 100%. The injury part, I don't buy, because programs from all over the country will take a shot on a guy that has. If he produces, he produces. I just don't buy that. Quarterback is too much of a important position for teams not to take a chance on. That's kind of like the way I would see it.
Okay.
But it's just a different opinion, or like different way we view the red shirt, I guess.
No, here's the thing. I trust Longo and whatever he wants to do. I trust.
It definitely has. Like, if a guy is maybe super talented, but he's just too short or skinny, or he just needs to beef up, I get that. But there's instances where I just see, hell, play the guy and see what you got.
I mean, that would be a hell of a first start though against Texas at DKR.
Yeah, I would.
But we'll
That would
see.
not be fun.
But we'll see. I trust Longo with this process because Lord knows he knows more about about like the whole process that goes on behind the scenes stuff when it comes to red shirts and all that. How you want to manage a roster for not just this year but the future. Way the hell more than all of us will be able to. So I don't know. We'll see. But the good thing is, Luke, we don't have to worry about that until next week in at least 4 or 5 more days when we release our Texas preview. That's going to come y'all's way next week sometime. So we'll see what happens. I'll do it for the Hawai'i recap, but coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit more about other Sam Houston sports, but one I wanted to go ahead and get out of the way because it's very interesting. Volleyball off to a hot start, and something that head coach Brenda Gray said before the season, and we are now seeing it live in action, and it's not just exciting for this year, but the future as well. I'll let you know what I mean by that and what I'm talking about next here on Sam Houston Sports Talk. All right, folks, welcome back. Sam Houston Sports Talk, Colin Neal, Luke Scott, as always. All right, so I teased it a little bit at the end of the segment, and head coach Brenda Gray and Sam Houston Volleyball are off to a decent start. They're 4-3. They're recently coming off of a nice win against the Lamar Cardinals in 4 sets. And last year, Luke, you remember this, I think. I don't know if you remember this, but last year, the Cardinals won in Huntsville in 5 sets, and what was a really good game. The Cardinals, before that game last year, Luke, in the 6 previous matches, they did not win a single set. So it was very Lamar has gotten much better as a program. They're led by a good head coach. Shout out head coach Ariel Apollinario. There's something good going on over there in Beaumont. They might compete in the Southland Conference, especially since the Southland Conference is pretty decent volleyball down there in that level. But anyway, point is though, head coach Brenda Gray made this statement in her opening press conference before the season started, and I want you to listen to this real quick.
Oh man, 2025. I'm going to be very, very honest with you guys. This freshman class that we brought to Huntsville to help us here at Sam Houston Volleyball, they are something else. You're going to see quite a few freshmen out there playing right away. Golly, right away, Chloe Munson, number 4, outside. She can just terminate a ball as good as anyone we've had in the gym for years. I will tell you, she can kind of take over on the outside position. We also have a transfer, Laura Malone. She's pretty much the other pin. She's taking care of the ball as well. So we're happy to have those 2 additions with us. You've got Chelsea Butler and Rochelle Reed basically going to be taking care of the middle zone for us in the middle. Our setters, both returners. We also have a freshman setter, Carly Schluter, who's going to step in and do some great things for us. And then our right side hitters, Michaela and Lily, they're back. So I don't know. It's just an exciting group. This group just works, though. Their work ethic is top-notch, just top-notch.
So if you didn't catch on, the recurring theme, freshman, Luca, it's I'll tell you what, she was not bluffing when she talking about the freshman. Shout out to Chloe Munson. She got 21 kills, which is a career high in her young career in the collegiate level against SFA, and she had, I believe she had 18 kills, I believe, against Lamar. Dude, Luke, she's fantastic. She's been really good, and the fact that and she leads the team in kills. I believe she now leads a lot of Conference USA, all of Conference USA in kills, and I believe points as well. I need to double check myself here in a second, but man, Luca, I don't know. I'm just saying here, volleyball not only looks pretty exciting this year, but they also look exciting in the future.
It's definitely a good sight to see because we've seen this kind of volleyball program kind of stall a little bit over the past couple of years. It's been um, some ups and some downs, but it just hasn't been that huge jump that we were kind of been hoping for since leaving the WAC. Maybe that was like competition rising a little bit, and it's just kind of that easing into a new type of level, right? But you're exactly right. Munson's been terrific. Panikova has been good. Butler and Malone. Avery Fowler is really taking control of being that setter, setting up and leading the team in assists. So, it's obviously a very fun game to watch. And, anytime, the volleyball is on or you're able to go in person, like I was able to go in person when I was, obviously on campus and we were able to watch it on ESPN Plus, those are just such fun back and forth to check out. Colin, it's such like we both called volleyball before, and it's a tough sport to call. Colin, it just is, right? It is fast paced, and you got to know your stuff because if you are in any way unprepared, you'll look awful, right? You'll sound awful, but no, they've done a very good job this year. We've got some really winnable games, or I'm sorry, matches coming up here, really up until Conference USA, and I think with how this team has played so far, you kind of like where we're at. Also, beat SFA up in Nacogdoches, which it's been a while since we've done that. So, very impressive start for the young Lady Bearcats.
Well, they're not called Lady Bear. We don't say Lady
Oh,
Bearcats around here.
sorry, Bearcats.
I will say
I still have beef with that.
well, let's save that conversation for another day. Anyway, I will say though, watching this team, Luke, if you remember, they had a very bad first year in Conference USA. It was not good in 2023.
Nice way to put it.
And then 2024 happened, and they improved quite a bit. They were able to go to they got to the conference tournament. But Luke, they're eyeing for more. They're aspiring for more. And the reason why I said earlier, not just this year but next year. I mean, Lillian Hamilton, she's a sophomore. Michaela Panikova, I believe, a junior. Chelsea Butler, sophomore. Chloe Munson, freshman. Carly Schluter, who's most likely going to be taking over that setter role after Avery Fowler graduates, which Fowler graduates this year because she's a 4-year senior. You got Shaylin White, who's been filling that role that Hannah Baker had for 5 years as a libero. She's been really good. Rochelle Reed has improved quite a lot, especially on the defensive side, blocking wise. I mean, Tuesday, as of now, last night, I called that game on ESPN Plus. She was impressive, and the attacking has been more efficient. I think it looks much more efficient than it has to begin a season than it has in the last couple of seasons. And then you bring in another experience, and this has been kind of a theme for the last couple of years, Luke, where they go in the transfer portal and find an experienced outside hitter. And, last year was Lila Washington. This year it's, excuse me one more time, it's Lauren Malone, a Round Rock native, who was at Coastal Carolina for the past few years, and then coming back to Texas to play in Huntsville for the Sam Houston Bearcats. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's early. It's still early. They still got quite a couple of games to go, like you mentioned before. They will be going to Corpus Christi this weekend in the Islanders Classic to take on Tarleton, Prairie View A&M, and A&M Corpus Christi, the host school. Then they have one more non-con tournament, which is back in Huntsville, which I think is pretty big, honestly. That the fact that they're ending non-con at home because they also start conference play at home against a really good UTEP team who won the Conference USA championship last year. You have HCU, Georgia State, and ULM coming to town. I'm calling that game against HCU on September 18th. I'm gonna stick around for the September 19th game because then the next day I won't be there for the ULM game because we all know what that game is. It's Texas, football against Texas. But I'm pretty impressed of what I've seen. I think head coach Brenda Gray's done a pretty good job with that program, especially since they've gone to Conference USA.
Yeah, no, obviously agree. Colin, with everything you said. Rochelle Reed, like that is a great name to mention. Really, she's really taking a step forward, and also, and you talk about Shaylin White, right, Colin? It's not easy replacing Hannah Baker. Hannah Baker has probably been one of the greatest Bearcats to ever play um, for this program, and taking that role over and being the libero in the back and got to do all the dirty work. That's not an easy role to fill, and she's done a very good job of that early in the season. So, plenty to be excited about with this team, and also like that. This is like the time of year where you can really build some momentum, and if you I think if you start building them wins, people around campus will understand, and you'll probably get a pretty good crowd, I would hope.
Listen,
for those home games.
Listen, a nice decent crowd, and I'm not talking about like 1,000 people or whatever, like what basketball gets sometimes, and I preface sometimes quite a bit in that sentence. But man, just like get a couple hundred people in there, man. And I'm telling you what, that place is popping because there's a thing about when Bearcat fans go to the game, Luke. If there's like a couple hundred people in there, it's still freaking loud inside the Coliseum. And man, I'll tell you what, that will do a lot for the team. Seeing a crowd that is rowdy, that gets excited for them for every point they score, for every service ace they get, for a great block they get, for every set they win, and hopefully match they win. That place is going to go crazy, Luke. And I'm telling you right now, if you've not been to a volleyball game inside Bernard G. Johnson Coliseum, you're going to have the opportunity here in a couple of weeks when they have the Bearcat Classic taking place. Go out there, support your Bearcats however you can. All right, that'll put a bow on this segment. Coming up next, men's basketball. They've grabbed a couple of 2026 commitments. I'll talk a little bit about them next here on Sam Houston Sports Talk. All right. It's football's here. It's nice and all. We're all gonna love it, Luke, and then we're all of a sudden gonna start thinking, man, I could really go for some college basketball. Well, it's almost here. It's 2 months away. It starts pretty soon. But when we're talking Sam Houston men's basketball here, Luke, as they grabbed a couple of 2026 guys, some commitments. First one I wanted to talk about was Ryan Kelly from Southeastern Prep. I'll play some film for those on YouTube. But 6'3" guard. He, from what I watch on this film, at least the stuff that I've watched so far, he's of course an athletic guy, a guy that runs pretty well on the break, decent mechanics on the shot. Also a guy that's he displays some nice basketball IQ, but this could be a guy that they could be looking toward in the future to be that next one, maybe that. But he's been playing more of a 2 at Southeastern Prep. But I'm pretty intrigued. Of course, commitments are commitments. They're of course not coming here until they're signed, but it seems like a pretty nice find here for Sam Houston.
Just kind of going through of what we can find with these guys that we're going to kind of talk about, and looks like the guy likes to get to the paint quite a bit. Doesn't seem to be the sort of guy that will settle for shots on the outside. And Colin, man, talking about basketball already,
right?
That's fun, man.
Yeah, Rylan Kelly. Excuse me, I said Ryan Kelly.
Yes,
it's Rylan Kelly. So pardon me on that. It's not a very common name, but just seems, and from the film that I saw, he seems like he's a nice team player, and that's kind of something that Mudge has prided himself on when he wants to recruit guys. Have that family mentality, being a good teammate, not just being a good player on the floor, but also off the floor. So he was offered by, I believe, actually, no, I have him. Actually, I forgot I pulled this up earlier. He was offered by Youngstown State. Youngstown State. Abilene Christian, Cleveland State, and Samford. That's according to verbal commitments. So he got offered by Sam Houston according to verbal commitments on July 20th, the same day that he was offered by Abilene Christian on July 20th. And he obviously committed 3 days ago, September 7th. So it seems like that's just a guy that they probably wanted to swoop in because they probably like him, and he's probably gaining some ground. He's still got one more year of prep ball, of course, to go. But I'll be quite keen to see where he goes. According to verbal commits, he's a 3-star RPS. I mean, and another guy that they found down in Florida, I will say, they have a couple of Florida guys on this team, Luke. They're pretty diverse in where they look for guys, because they found Jackson Ford, of course, in Texas. They found CJ Beaumont in Florida a few years ago. So I don't know. It could be something. It's just kind of wait and see these days when it comes to these kind of recruits.
Yeah, and one huge season can completely change and turn things around. Interesting kind of spread there with the offers. Stanford, obviously.
Samford.
Huge school. Oh, Samford.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. I was gonna make a joke about the ACC all the way down to the horizon, which we're really talking the top tier and the very bottom tier. Colin, as we both love the Horizon League.
Yes, we do.
Shout out Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. Go Mastodons. Anyways, yeah, solid little commit. Something just to kind of keep an eye out on.
Yeah, another guy that they brought in, Xavier Roberson. This is from Dynamic Prep in Irving, Texas. Luke, I know you've heard of Dynamic Prep.
Right down the road from me.
There's been quite a few. I can't bring up names, but I swear I've heard Dynamic Prep quite a couple of times when it comes to recruits coming out of that area. I mean, I don't have any film on him because I didn't want to get copyrighted. I'm perfectly okay with using huddle footage because it's readily available to the public. Anyone can use it. But I found a couple of these clips from GASO Texas Hoops. They are NCAA accredited when it comes to scouting services for Texas high school and JUCO. I found these clips and I just thought they were interesting. They talk a lot about the person in Xavier Roberson himself. He's a 3-star. He's a 3-star. He was offered by Texas A&M Corpus Christi Islanders, and Tarleton also offered him too. So those are two good, mid-major programs. I mean, I know a lot of people kind of don't really know that much about Texas A&M Corpus Christi, but hey, it's a pretty good, nice little mid-major program going down over there in Corpus. But here's a couple of clips. I'm gonna play this first one, and I want to hear your thoughts real quick, Luke, when you hear something like this, and it probably should already give it away why they probably like this guy off the bat.
To round us out, I'm at Xavier Robertson. I'm looking at him just with his ability to lead and just the way he competes on both sides. Dynamic Prep is down double digits to
tell the story. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it was Timmons and I standing right next to each other.
Yep.
At the half, he tells the coaches, "Y'all go. I got this." Calls the team over. He said, "A players' team meeting right here only." He said, "We're not going to go out like that. We're going to keep it PG just for online purposes right here. We're not going out like that. We're not going to do it." He said, "Look at the score. It's not going to end that way. Not while I'm standing right here." Case closed. They come back and win the game. Double-digit deficit.
Yep.
Xavier's awesome,
Absolutely.
man, and you can see the intensity. And I just feel like it's an anomaly to like wait your turn at a prep school and just like keep plugging away at it. And I feel like that's what Xavier's done, and now he's the senior, and you can tell he's the heartbeat. It's great insight, Tim.
And then here's another clip that kind of plays upon the same thing, just kind of from a different perspective.
Yeah, for me, Xavier Roberson of Dynamic Prep, the last thing I said when we spoke in front of all those kids was nobody's too cool to play hard here. And he took that and just dominated the day from his effort level. He didn't care who he was on the court with. He didn't care what his name was. He didn't care who his name was. He had almost that Ron Holland energy that translated into a lot of production.
Yeah.
He was running on every fast break with guards. He didn't care who was on his team. He was going to go rebound. Just do everything that's going to make yourself stand out at the camp. And every time you looked over, he was doing something. He was undeniable. It didn't matter, Mass, if you were there for 15 minutes on one of his games or 2 minutes. He was going to make plays every time he had the opportunity to. And at a camp, sometimes those are the type of guys. I pulled him to the side. I was like, hey, it doesn't matter what level of camp you're on or where you're at. If you play like that, you're always going to stand out. And I feel like he's a great example of how you want to attack any type of camp or any type of just your energy.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's skilled enough to match. So some plays he was going to make regardless. But I think it enhanced his whole overall stock from the way he played.
Yeah, and also we saw him play last year with the Drive Nation 15 group that was so electric. And then he goes to dynamic prep, which there's a lot of really good players there and that are older and stronger and more mature than him. And it was almost like he showed up and was like, hey, guys, don't forget about me.
Well, after listening to those 2 clips, Luca, just then these are people that are very serious in covering, in covering and scouting Texas high school and basketball and the prep ball. Just kind of what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it's obviously very encouraging. This is a program that's led by Jermaine O'Neal, right? An NBA, longtime NBA guy. His daughter, UT volleyball standout, Jermaine O'Neal Jr. is on the team, and this is a team that wins a lot of games and contends at the very top level, right, in Texas high school basketball. Or in Texas, it's its own thing, but yeah, this is a very unique, kind of a cool little a pickup here potentially for Sam Houston. The guy's Xavier Robinson's out of Michigan, Saginaw. Colin, you even know where Saginaw is on the map? It's up there somewhere.
If you give me a couple minutes, I could probably find it.
Is it on the peninsula or is it on the mainland? Do you have I have no idea.
Well, you just keep on talking.
But yeah, interesting pickup. I mean, kind of a longer guy, and it's mainland, not the peninsula, not the UP. Anyways, kind of a longer guy. Looks to maybe want to stretch the floor a little bit, but obviously like a super athletic wing. Is going to want to get downhill. This is a guy that's going to probably play really good ball both ways and play good defense. Long, rangy athlete. This is a fun pickup. This is a pickup that I'm very excited about. Him also being in Texas and potentially seeing him in Irving. I might have to go and check out a little dynamic prep basketball here pretty soon.
Yeah, and you've heard in the first clip the guy said Ron Holland. A lot of you don't. I feel a lot of you don't know who Ron Holland is. He was one of the more important players in that St. John's team last year that made a deep run into the NCAA tournament with Rick Pitino. And Holland played in Duncanville, by the way, as well. And then he's now with the Detroit Pistons. And Holland played with a lot of energy. So when I hear a guy that seems like he is a leader, he picks up the team when things don't go the way they hope for. And also, he's a very energetic guy. Yeah, it just sounds pretty exciting to me personally. And so, of course, I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be maybe a couple more commitments that come out. Who knows? But yeah, Rylan Kelly and Xavier Roberson right now committed. Obviously not signed. But seems like a couple of Bearcats a couple of future Bearcats that seem to be very exciting. If when they do make it to Huntsville, we'll see. But all right, let's wrap things up in the next segment. Just kind of read some of y'all's comments, just our final thoughts overall as we head into the bye week for football and what more to look forward to around Sam Houston athletics. Stay right here, Sam Houston Sports Talk, right here. All right, final quick segment here on Sam Houston Sports Talk. Once again, thank you all as always for watching it on YouTube, listening on Spotify. We're getting quite a growth bit there on Spotify, and just really thank you all once again. Keep on coming. If you haven't already, please be sure you subscribe. We're closing in on 300 subscribers on YouTube. We're at 271 last time I checked. let's see if we can get up. Let's see if we can get up there, especially a few weeks removed from getting to a quarter of 1,000 subscribers. Let's keep on getting up there. We're closing in as well, Luke, on 1,100 followers on X. That's pretty freaking awesome to see. We still got plenty of Sam Houston athletics to go. We still got volleyball season's just kicking off. Football's only play 3 games. There's still 9 games to go. It's a pretty interesting season. Women's basketball is coming soon. Then Diamond Sports, before you know it, it's just there's a lot of storylines coming in this whole athletics year, especially with how weird everything has been with the whole press box and everything. Press box, by the way, I got told is ahead of schedule. I wonder if I do wonder if I really hope that they do have the spring game that they said that they're gonna have, because I think it'll be pretty cool for the what you call it, to get Bearcats excited. Like, yeah, we're back here in Bowers. We got a whole new press box with like concession stands ramped up, like much better on that side, at least a team store and all that hopefully contributes to NIL and revenue sharing and all that jazz. Just I think people just want to get through this year specifically, though, when it comes to football, just seeing how weird it's been.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's tough. It's tough building excitement for I'm sure it's so tough for the players having to not have a home game, all year. It's tough for the students. It's tough for fans to get excited, say, "Hey, let's go to the Bearcat game," and it's in, it's not on campus. It's not even near campus, right? So, yeah, it's tough. It is kind of it's a rough year for its Longo to be its first year, and
yeah.
Hopefully we can make the best out of what's left of the season. You never know. Football's also a funny sport, man. I mean, this is a game where you get hot down the stretch, and you start playing good ball, and it's not like we're playing against ranked teams every week. We're talking Conference USA, so you never really know where it can go. But yeah, it is one of those years that you're just gonna have to try to get through and see what you can make out of a tough situation.
Listen, though, I'll tell you what, though, I've seen worse. I was there for 23. I've seen worse. That season was long. That season felt like it took forever. Like, offense didn't score a touchdown until freaking third game of the season against Houston. Our first win as an FBS our first win as an FBS program is against an FCS transitioning school in Kennesaw State. And then, I mean, it was a night.
The loss against was it East Texas?
UTEP?
No. That was the what was the quarterback's name? Oh, he was awful.
Who are you talking? What are you trying to get at here?
How bad that season was, Colin.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That Keegan Shoemaker. Yeah.
No, not Shoemaker.
Grant Gunnell.
No, not Grant Gunnell. The Georgia Tech guy.
Oh, Jordan Yates. That was 2020.
Jordan Yates.
Oh no, that was 2022. He wasn't a quarterback in 2023. He was an athlete.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, an athlete. Yeah.
He was a return guy.
He was. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And then he went on to He went on to Tennessee Tech. So, oh man, but no.
We lost against Northern Arizona, not Texas A&M Commerce that year.
No, well, I'm not talking. Right. That's 22. I'm not talking about 22. I'm talking about 23. So, our first
I know,
year in
Colin, we're talking about kind of being in the dumps there for a little bit.
22. The stretch of 2022 and 2023 was so bad. That was weirdly just bad. Oh man. The point is
the overtimes, the overtimes.
No, come on. Oh, come on, dude. No.
Little PTSD.
No, man, it's gosh. I'll just say this, at least for the thing for this year, Luke. One thing we did desperately bad, and I personally did, we really underestimated the first two opponents in Western Kentucky and UNLV. Because look at UNLV, they're on fire. They beat UCLA, I believe, in Los Angeles.
LA is awful.
UCLA is awful, but still,
UCLA is in contention to be possibly the worst Power 5 or Power 4 team in the country.
wouldn't that fall to Stanford though?
That's Colin, right. That's right there with them. I mean,
Wake Forest.
whew. Yeah, Wake Forest isn't great either.
Anyway, in Western Kentucky, it's a Western Kentucky's Western Kentucky. They got a quarterback in there. They could win the Conference US. They could win Conference USA this year. But either way, I just feel like we really underestimated the first two opponents.
Colin, they lost to Toledo.
Yeah, but Toledo's pretty good. Toledo's probably going to win the MAC again this year.
I saw DeQuan Finn, talking a little MAC real quick. I saw DeQuan Finn. Colin, he was a Toledo guy, goes to Baylor, sits on the bench, goes back to the MAC, and now he's with the Spreadhawks. How? You can't do that. You cannot do that. And I texted Steve Helwick, a friend of the program. I texted Steve, and I was like, okay, come on. Like, we all love the MAC, but you can't be jumping from rival to rival in the MAC. You got to stick it out with one. And
what did Steve say?
Let me see what he said.
But now that we're kind of going all over the place in this final segment, I wanted to
7th year senior, by the way.
Yeah.
DeQuan Finn.
But real quick, I wanted to go in. I wanted to kind of also just show this clip real quick. Yes, here we go. Okay, so we all know, by the way, what we all know what happened with good old UCF and USF, excuse me, and Florida. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? Well, this is an AP voter, by the way, and Haley Sawyer, who has Florida up 2 spots in front of USF and has all sort of issues. Just look, I wanted to know your reaction to this. I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to play the audio because I just thought about this on the spot, but I wanted to play it.
But as far as what my votes are and what my process is, I wake up early in the morning after covering a game late in the night before. Don't want to go too much into my progress or process or logic, but I will say I appreciate everybody's interaction on social media and all of your feedback. There's tons of people that vote on the AP poll, and it's not a perfect system.
Oh, she has to be trolling. She has to be trolling.
No matter who you pick, it does even out because there's so many people who vote. And like I said, it's really fun for discussion. It doesn't, probably matter in the end, but I'm glad that people are having a really good time with it.
Did you just hear what she said at the end? That probably doesn't matter in the end. What do you mean? Yes, it does. What are you talking about? Oh, man.
I mean, that is just those are the people that are ranking teams. That's it. I mean, she has to be trolling. She has to be. There's no, unless she just did not watch any games. Or she just wasn't alive. She just turned off all internet connection she had to, or any sort of connection to football. She just turned it off and said, you know what, I'm sure Florida won. We're going to rank them. She also moved up Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, and Notre Dame has
off the bye.
Yeah, off the bye. I think and
love that. I love that. No, noted not rival, but kind of a villain of the Burners there for a little bit. That got after Josh Pate. I saw Josh Pate kind of clown this AP voter. Noted foe of the Burnerverse. 1-0 against Josh Pate in that, by the way. Yeah, I saw that he kind of got after her a little bit, which was funny to see. But I mean, that has to be that's an all-time troll job. Like that's pretty funny.
Do you? I find this very weird. I don't know if
And
this I don't know if this
there's no
happens.
shot it was a troll. There's no shot it was a troll. She just didn't watch any games.
Probably a little too drunk off of the wine that she'd been drinking. I will say, do you find that the group of 5 or group of 6 or whatever it's called these days, even though there's no clear organization or whatever, something official about it, but whatever, we can all just go ahead and keep on calling it that. There's been some prominent media people that have been kind of sympathizing with that part of college football. I don't know if you noticed that, or maybe it's just the specific things I've been seeing, and maybe it's not that big of a deal. I don't know. It's just I just feel like that maybe the group 5, group of 6 has been kind of becoming a more accepted part of college football these days, because if it feels like all people talk about these days is who's in the SEC, the Big 10, the ACC, and the Big 12. But there's other college football. There's other FBS football going on around here. I don't know. That's just kind of what I've been kind of pointing out, because she got a lot of backlash, a lot of backlash because of specifically moving Florida up 2 spots and having them ranked above USF, who beat them in Gainesville.
The quote, I don't want to go too much into my process or logic. It's really fun, but it probably doesn't matter in the end. That's an all-time quote, Colin, from a voter. I mean, like, that's all time. I don't really want to explain why I said I put this. Lady, just say you're wrong. Just say you're wrong. Also, it's comical that she has Oklahoma behind Florida. Like, that's even better. Like, Oklahoma has a huge. Also, like, Michigan probably shouldn't be that. Like, Michigan's awful. Like, Michigan is not very good. But at the same time, like, having Florida in front of Oklahoma that's hilarious. Like, probably the Heisman favorite right now against a team that looked bad. I mean, they looked really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like
Arizona State also, like,
I do feel like
choke
though
job.
I do feel like though that there is starting to be a bit more respect for FBS outside of the Power 4.
Maybe so. Yeah, potentially.
I don't know. That's just kind of what I point.
I think I can see that.
Um,
But also, like,
God, that was so bad.
who do you think is the G5? Is South Florida right now the number 1 G5 team in the country?
So yeah, so South Florida is definitely the Bulls are the main group. God dang it, group of 5, group of 6, whatever you want to call it.
They have the best resume, but are they the number 1 team, would you say, of the G5?
Yes. I think with the wins that they got, Luke, they beat number 25 Boise
Not Notre
State.
Dame?
Notre Dame's independent. Shut up. That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Okay.
I knew you were building something up.
I was ready for that. I hope you. Yeah.
Hey, I'm on top of it. I'm on top of it. Okay. I'm ready to go.
Where would Florida rank in the Conference USA?
Florida?
Yeah.
They'd be below Sam Houston, I'll tell you that.
I don't know, Colin. Tell you what, how much long, or the coach for what's his name for South Florida, Galesh, right?
Yeah.
Is he coaching Florida next year?
Well, if Billy Napier probably won't make it past.
He's gone. He's got to go.
I think
I'm
there's
sorry.
I think there's a
He's
certain.
gotta be gone.
I think there's a certain date in November where that's killing DeBoer. I'm thinking of, but we could have both Alabama and Florida coaches be gone before the end of the year.
Dan Mullen gets that call back from Florida, maybe.
Oh man, that would be insane. That would be quite. But I heard he actually really loves it in UNLV, because that's where he went to a lot. And when he stopped coaching, he loves the golf courses up there. I heard he loves the golfing up there. That's what somebody from
Yeah,
from
I
UNLV.
bet so.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. But just real quick before we wrap things up, to just kind of get back on topic a little bit. Shout out to freshman Eliie Morgan. She scored her first 2 collegiate goals. What a great first career goal. A really nice shot in the bottom left corner to lift the Bearcats past Grand Canyon. The Bearcats lost 5-1, 6-1 last year at Grand Canyon. The last year or the year before, I can't remember exactly. I was talking to the sports information director for soccer, Cody Starko, because I was trying to get some. I was talking to him about soccer just to kind of get an idea. But then she got another goal against SMU. So, but shout out to her for being named Conference USA Offensive Player of the Week for women's soccer. So shout out to Eliie Morgan. Congratulations once again. But Luke, if I also read one more comment from the Sam Houston Sports Talk fan base. General Sam, talked a little bit about I dropped my phone. Talked a little bit about Chloe Munson and and Bearcat volleyball, which I'm glad that Bearcat volleyball is getting the talk. They're getting freshman. He said freshman Chloe Munson has been a huge addition so far this season. Chelsea Butler looks like she's made a big jump in play from last year for the volleyball team. Love to see it. Yeah, I love to see it too, man. I hope volleyball keeps on going. But Luke, if I have nothing else, do you have anything else to say before we sign off?
Another friend of the program, Chelsea Butler. We have both covered her for quite some time.
Yeah.
With K-Sam in Huntsville Athletics. She's a Huntsville girl, Colin. She was born in Huntsville and decided to stay in Huntsville with the Bearcats. So gotta love that.
Yeah, she's really improved a lot this year. I'm glad that she's been doing well. Former basketball player. She also played basketball, for those that don't know, at Huntsville High School. So, but that'll do it for us here on Sam Houston Sports Talk. This is probably going to be the only episode this week that we're going to post. The only pod we're going to post this week up until Texas happens. We'll have your Texas preview pod coming up next week. But for now, folks, rest with football. Cheer on the other Bearcats because there's some other athletics going on around the athletics side of things. Soccer goes to McNeese, I believe. Like I said, volleyball goes down to Corpus Christi this weekend. I don't know. I believe the first 2 games they're not going to be broadcasted, but you can watch them against the host school, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, on ESPN Plus if you have the ESPN app and ESPN Plus subscription. Let's see here. Today's Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow, which will be Thursday. Yes. So you can catch Bearcat soccer against McNeese at McNeese on ESPN Plus. That kickoff is scheduled for 7 p.m. But anyway, guys, that'll do it for us. Like and subscribe. Follow us on all of our socials. All that good stuff. Subscribe today. And as always, guys, eat 'em up, cats, and have a great rest of your weekend. And, man, it's I got to say, I really do appreciate all of y'all for supporting the outlet, Luke. Luke, we cannot do it. It is great seeing the support that we've been getting. I will say that to everyone.
Up, cats.